Let's go to work.
Monroe refusing to look Saunders in the eye. The fighters back to their corners. The atmosphere is pulsating. Billy Joe Saunders and Willie Monroe are ready. What will the fight deliver? The WBO World Middleweight title and possibly the chance to fight the winner of Golovkin-Alvarez, the fight which will follow later on in the early hours of tomorrow morning.
Big night of boxing, John, isn't it? Not only for these two guys, but Golovkin-Canelo, and hopefully the winner of this one can meet the winner of that one. That will be on their minds, but they've both got to be professional here and get the job done, but it's getting the job done in impressive fashion. And Billy Joe Saunders, he certainly looks in very good condition, but so does Monroe. They're both southpaws, so see how it pans out. Could be a tricky start for both of them, just feeling each other out. Scouting mission in this first round.
Absolutely, it could be a bit of a chess match in the early stages, this one. I would be a little surprised if Saunders were to catch Monroe in the early stages as he did with Andy Lee when he scored that early knockdown. Tactically, it's going to be interesting. Sometimes southpaws together. There's a good left hand though from Billy Joe Saunders. Monroe takes it well, good fast hands.
Yeah, a little lapse in concentration there from Monroe. Good jab to the body from Saunders. Then he switches really quick, doesn't he, with that left hand. Very fast hands indeed there. Just fell in onto Monroe, but nevertheless it was a good shot. Monroe wasn't expecting it, and again off the mark. You've got to say that Saunders is catching him with that lead hand as well now.
Well, Dominic Ingle said to me earlier in the week that in his opinion Monroe wasn't the hardest to get to, despite the fact that he'd looked good in stages against Gennady Golovkin, who, well, having covered Golovkin fights, sometimes you almost get the impression that he deliberately allows opponents to get to him to see just what they've got, and maybe there was a little bit of an element of that. But this is a nice start from Saunders.
Yeah, it's a sensible start from Saunders. He's working downstairs. I think Monroe early on, John, has probably underestimated the right jab of Saunders, so he's waiting a little bit too long at this stage, Monroe, and by doing that, that's just allowing Saunders just to set and to use that jab, and he's good with the jab, is Billy Joe Saunders.
Does tend to let that right hand lead glove hang low, Monroe, and Saunders is looking to exploit that with the overhand left hand like that.
I think Monroe's waiting a little bit too long here. He's got to try and be first. It's Billy Joe Saunders who's taking advantage. And he's quicker to the punch at this stage.
Interesting opening round. Not too many fireworks, but you just get the impression that maybe the more telling shots in the opening 3 minutes have been landed by the champion. The left hand is the danger shot. Billy Joe Saunders being told in that corner by Dominic Ingle, relax, relax, it's going okay.
Yes, it's going okay. He's mentioned the time, and his time is a little bit better. Not a lot in the round, but he gets it for me.
Round 2.
Into the second round, 12-rounder, of course, the championship distance. Billy Joe Saunders defending his title for a second time. He looked dreadful by his own admission against Artur Akavov in Scotland last December. Big changes since then, a different approach. Physically he looks different, and he says that he is in the shape to cope with this dangerous American.
I think also, John, the pace of the first round actually suited Saunders better. I thought Monroe was waiting too long. He's come out a little bit throwing more shots in this round, but again, Billy Joe Saunders is very good with his jab. You know, remember, he's a former Olympian. He had a distinguished career as an amateur, an international amateur. He boxed Cubans, Americans, Russians. He's fought every style, and he's very good technically, is Saunders. But I think Monroe, yeah, I think his corner says you've got to throw more shots. You've waited too long in that opening round.
still fairly quiet at this stage in this second round, feeling each other out still. Referee Marcus McDonnell, a no-nonsense kind of official, separates them. Saunders trying to double up on that right-hand lead all the time. Better from Monroe. Flashy right hand. He's not a big one-punch knockout artist, Willie Monroe.
Well, just the 6 knockouts, hasn't he, on his record? So he's not a big puncher, Monroe, but he's got good balance. He's bad with his jab, but he's just going to throw a few more shots again. It's Saunders that's taking advantage of him, just slowing things down.
Saunders looking confident tonight. His face a studying concentration. Monroe says that statistic, those 6 knockouts, is testimony to the fact that he's always been matched hard. He says he hasn't been a protected man, he hasn't been a chosen one, as he believes Billy Joe Saunders has. But he's going to have to do more than he is at the moment if he's going to take this title from Saunders. Falling short with those attempted right-hand leads. Well, fairly close round. Tim T.J. Nolan, the coach who, to some extent, rescued the career of Willie Monroe. He's the man giving the words of advice. I think the basic thrust of it is that he's got to work behind the jab, yeah, but he's got to throw more of them. Thought this match might produce a quiet sort of opening, and so it is. Whether or not it transpires to be a peace before the storm, or whether Saunders will just try to systematically outbox him throughout, well, that remains to be seen. Not a lot between them in that second round. Could he split them, Richie?
I thought it was a fairly even round. For me, it was a 10-10 round. I thought Monroe started the round better, and I thought as the round went on, then Saunders got back into it, so it's a very close round indeed. I just think Monroe, he's got to throw more shots. I think his corner have told him that. At this pace, I think it's suiting Saunders, and he's a little bit more accurate with his lead hand, is Billy Joe Saunders. And at this stage, I think he's doing the better work with that lead hand.
Monroe stands tall, doesn't he? He doesn't look the shorter man in there.
He has the slight reach advantage, doesn't he, Monroe?
That's better. Good jab from Monroe.
He's got to use it more, John. That's a good jab again from Saunders. He's preferring to wait, isn't he, Monroe?
It's principally a battle of the jabs at the moment, isn't it?
Lead hand, yes.
Monroe said that stylistically, and that's his word, not mine, he said that he is a similar kind of fighter to Billy Joe Saunders, and he expected it to be that kind of fight. Same stance, obviously, both southpaw, but fighting in a similar manner.
Yeah, both
jab.
Treading on each other's foot. I just, at this stage, John, I just feel that the Monroe, he has got decent skills, he's got a decent jab, but he's not throwing enough of it. You know, he's not taking the title from the champion here. He's got to do more work.
Artie Palulo sitting next to Frank Warren, the promoter and manager, Banner Promotions, of Willie Monroe. Based in Philadelphia, one of the great figures of the American fight game. Been around for donkey's year, Artie has. They always say around boxing, respect a man whose name ends with a vowel. Saunders trying to bully Monroe, and the crowd responding. Big shots from Saunders, and if the second round was close, that big attack in the closing stages of the third brought that one emphatically to the champion.
We just take your time, don't get carried away. Sir, what's behind the head? That was behind the head, Ralph.
They're complaining about shots behind the head.
Take a deep breath.
Justified?
I didn't think so, John. I would like to see it on video again, sorry, on the tape. Let's have a look here. So there, it's chopping,
there
yeah,
it is,
maybe so, yeah. That was just above us. We couldn't see it from our angle, but it was a good end to the round for Saunders. Got on his front foot. Wanted to see that, but yeah, he's definitely in control here. There wasn't a lot in this round right up to this point, and it's the last 10 or 15 seconds. See that, yeah, they have got a point there. Totally agree with him. That's a chopping shot back of the head.
Illegal shots if it's around the back of the head like that, but Billy Joe Saunders not pulled up for it, I don't think, but he wins that round. Into the fourth.
Monroe, for me, John, now he needs a good round here. It was pretty convincing towards the end of that round for Billy Joe Saunders, and he definitely won that round.
He got himself bullied, Monroe, didn't he?
Yeah. The signs weren't good towards the end of the round. A couple of illegal shots, yes, they've got a point, but the body language of Monroe wasn't good, and you've seen Saunders come forward, and he was in control there, and he won that round. So Monroe, he needs a good round here.
Saunders has labelled Monroe a quitter for retiring in that fight.
Billy Joe Saunders, I think the cut right eye.
He is. Right eye along the inside of the right eyebrow, and you can see that blood is now flowing into the right eye of Billy Joe Saunders. Corner will have work to do.
Change things round. Monroe again is still opting to wait. Billy Joe Saunders takes advantage again. But yeah, you can see, John, that Saunders now, he's wiping the blood away, so it's definitely affected him. They've got some work, as you've said, to do in that corner now.
Well, Simon Bergen is the cut man in that Saunders corner, and clearly his role now is going to be an important one. He's ready. And straight away, come the bell, they will go to work. Saunders needs to keep his shape, needs to keep his composure.
He needs to keep his shape and composure, and he needs to keep his distance, John, because he keeps falling in here, and that could have come.
Was it a head clash? Did you catch it?
I didn't see it. I just seen them break away, and then I just saw a trickle of blood. I don't know where it's come from, John, but Saunders, he's doing himself no favours. After he's doing his work, he's falling in. He's got to control that distance and gap between himself and Monroe a little bit better.
I'm being told by our technical guys who mastermind which replays we see behind the scene that they think it was a clash of heads, but we'll take a look between rounds. Monroe has certainly been inspired by that, and briefly you got the sense that there was a tiny bit of panic in Billy Joe Saunders as Willie Monroe told off for flicking with that right hand rather than punching properly. So how important in the story of this fight will this injury to Billy Joe Saunders be as the countdown comes to the end of the round? And now the work has to go on the damaged eye. Let's take a look up close.
Nothing. Give me that. There. I couldn't see nothing. Nothing. It's a scratch. Yeah, I know, but I couldn't see. All right. It's all right. Close your eyes.
Well, Dominic Ingle himself choosing to do the repair work.
Oh yeah, there it was, John, wasn't it? Definite clash of heads.
Oh dear.
But you know, That's what you get sometimes after he's thrown a shot and he's falling in, and then he's come up with his head there. Well, if anything, he wasn't falling in, he just brought his hand back, and Monroe has come up with his head.
Dominic straight away saying, look, it's nothing,
right,
it's just
it's
just a scratch.
Right, it's nothing.
It's nothing, he says.
It's nothing. You've got more of a little bump on your nose, that's all it is. Right, yeah. Right, come shield. Here we go. Let's stick to the boxing there. Here we go. Come on.
Seconds out. Round 5.
Well, that was a Monroe round for me, Richie.
Yeah, and for me, John, I think he just nicked that round. And I think he was inspired, wasn't he, with seeing the blood, just up the work rate a little bit. So Billy Joe Saunders has got to control things better now, John.
Yeah. First round, maybe, that Monroe has won, and on Richie's card, he's got it by 1 point at this stage to Billy Joe Saunders. With that second round, he scored it level. Saunders has to regain his composure, which briefly, perhaps not surprisingly, looked as though he'd lost it just a little bit in that last round.
Lost his shape a little bit, didn't he? He was just falling in occasionally and just following through, and he's got caught with the head, but you know, there was no panic in the corner. They said it's just a scratch, don't worry about it, just stick to your boxing, stay focused. But that will encourage Monroe to a certain degree. Again, Billy Joe Saunders is beating his opponent to the punch. I think Monroe has got to do better work. That was better from him. He's got to throw more shots, most certainly Monroe.
He is actually being out-jabbed. Saunders looks as though he has the classier lead, and he's trying to again bully the American here on the ropes.
He's a little bit more accurate with his lead hand, isn't he, Saunders?
Good right hand from Saunders. Monroe trying to cover up, trying to bob and weave and work off the ropes. But the better work there was coming from Saunders as the blood starts to flow from that injury above the right eye once more. There's a little nick on the bridge of his nose as well.
You make certain choices in contests, John, and what Monroe did there by staying on those ropes, just the wrong choice to make. You know, he got caught with some big shots there, and I think the wrong choice also is he's waiting a little bit too long. You see, again, Saunders beating him to the shot. He's just a little bit more accurate with his lead hand. Monroe, for me, has got to work a little bit harder by holding those feet. I think that's just suiting Saunders.
Again, Saunders beating him to the punch with that jab just before referee Marcus McDonnell intervened. Marcus, in case you didn't know, I know a lot of our viewers will know, but he's the brother of Jim McDonnell, former top-class fighter of years gone by. And that victory over Barry McGuigan at the back end of his career.
McGuigan's last fight, I think.
Great fight against Brian Mitchell as well. And astonishing battle against Azuma Nelson. So closing stages of the 5th round, where Willie Monroe has not really built on the success that he had in the previous round, and for him that's a little bit disappointing. Well, here's some of the action from the 5th round.
Oh, that was a bit naughty there, wasn't it, from Billy Joe Saunders, just following through with the elbow there.
Seconds out. Round 6.
Billy on Richie's card, a 2-point advantage at this stage for Billy Joe Saunders. Nearing the halfway stage of the fight. You can sense the tension in the atmosphere here.
Just listening into the Monroe corner there, John, and echoing what we're thinking, that Monroe's got to throw more punches. That says you've got to throw more jabs and up the tempo a little bit. So he's got to change things around for me. He's just being edged out in these rounds, in our opinion anyway. Probably got to do a little bit more for a challenger.
Well, it's his big opportunity, and he must have known that if he's going to win the title, it's kind of a first unwritten rule of boxing. On the other guy's territory, you've got to win emphatically. He needs to be doing more than he is at this stage, Willie Monroe. Marcus McDonald telling Billy Joe Saunders off about use of the head. Shoulders going in as well. And both holding on. Nearing the halfway stage of the fight. Interesting fight rather than a dramatic fight so far.
Saunders has got to protect that cut, John, a little bit better. Falling in after his jab, and the heads are coming close again. So that's a little bit better from him there at distance. But Monroe himself, that's a fast jab. Now that's a good jab there for Monroe.
And a good left hand he brought across there, which clipped Saunders. A few anxious faces on that far side of the ring. You see Billy Joe's dad sitting next to Tyson Fury there. Well, not a lot between them in this round. Monroe having some success with that jab. And now we are at the halfway stage of the fight.
Leo Vegas have hundreds of mobile casino games, so they needed 2 brand ambassadors. 2 of us means twice the talent. Roar! Look, all right, maybe I bigged it up in the audition. Roar! Join us now for 20 free spins at leovegas.com with no deposit needed.
Here at the Copper Box Arena, our main event, the WBO middleweight title fight between Billy Joe Saunders and Willie Monroe Jr. is at its halfway stage. 6 rounds completed.
Right.
Saunders cut, and on Richie Woodall's card, commentating alongside me, Richie, just Billy Joe Saunders, but some of those rounds have been close.
Yeah, they've been very close, some of them, and they may have gone to Saunders. But I think Monroe just come back into it that last round, that last minute or so in the last round, and he did a bit more better work. Because as you've said, John, there's not a lot in these rounds at all.
Dominic Ingle in Saunders' corner saying he's got to throw not single shots, but throw them in bunches, in combinations, get in and out. And I think he's only too well aware that the fight is now at an absolute key stage.
Step away, let go, hurry up, step away.
Not a good jab from Saunders.
He's worked well with that shot, that lead hand. We've seen glimpses from Monroe in the last round that he can throw a good jab, but he hasn't thrown enough of them in this round, certainly. And again, beaten to the punch by Saunders.
And Monroe has now gone longer against Billy Joe Saunders than he did against Gennady Golovkin. action tonight against Saul Alvarez. And the winner of this may be moving towards a unification fight to find the first unified champion since Bernard Hopkins a decade or more ago. It's good work from Monroe.
Again, battle of the lead hands, John.
Good shot. Good shot from Monroe, the left-hand lead. Doing a pretty good job on those ropes of staying away from those attempted power shots from Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders pushing him back but unable to find clear scoring shots. Another tight round, Richie.
Yeah, it was a tight round. I thought for two minutes of the round, though, Saunders was doing the better work. He gets caught at the end of the round with a couple of shots by Monroe. We're just highlighting that, but for most of the round, I thought Saunders did the better work, to be quite honest.
You've won everything. So keep it clean, find the body shot, watch your head, because the referee's going to be onto you. Right now, keep being relaxed, get back to that boxing. It's always going to be ones, twos and threes, that's all it is, Rocky. He's going to try and help you and swing at you. So everything clear, no hard, it's a game of chess.
That's how Richie's got it, by 2 points to Billy Joe Saunders after 7 rounds completed. Some of those rounds have been tight. Moving into the 8th. Is Billy Joe Saunders doing enough at this stage to be retaining his world title? Starting the round jabbing well again, behind that right-hand lead.
When Monroe holds his feet, John, and just literally is like a statue, I fail to see what the tactic is there, because he's just not quick enough off the mark for me, and he's not quick enough with his counters either. I think he's better with a little bit more movement, left and right, trying to draw the lead off Saunders, but by just standing still at times, he waits far too long, and that just allows Saunders to get his shots off.
Good from Billy Joe and getting the crowd going. Certainly from the Saunders corner suggesting keep doing what you're doing, you're giving him a boxing lesson. Well, it might be a little bit too soon to be saying that he's getting the advantage of the early stages of the tape. I'm sure back home in Sheffield, the wise old guru who started it all, Brendan Ingle, will be watching on.
Tremendous trainer, wasn't he, Brendan Ingle? Certainly remember the Harold Bomber Graham days. And, he was a terrific talent out of the Ingle stable.
And so much more than just a boxing trainer, almost like a social worker for so many as well. I suppose you could say the same about Brian Hughes up in Manchester and others, but the Ingle gym have done a great job for many a year, and Billy Joe Saunders looking to be the latest to profit from that association. Good shot from Saunders and another one. Both power shots which Saunders landed after Monroe was finally goaded into committing himself.
Yeah, just sparked into life there, wasn't he?
He's looking for big bombs now. Referee having a close look at Monroe. Good round, good last 30 seconds, especially for Billy Joe Saunders.
Listen to that. That's 8 rounds. Yeah. You're pissing. Deep breathe. Don't be swinging with him. Right, relax. Deep breathe. Keep to the boxing.
Good work from Saunders in this round. Just caught Monroe with that counter after Monroe just fired off a couple of jabs, but didn't get the hand back into that on-guard position quick enough. Gets caught. Look, watch him come back there. There it was there. Lovely shot, lovely counter after Monroe's double jab. And then he kept the attack going. A couple of shots here on the ropes, just missing the target. Again, leaning in with the elbow there, Billy Joe Saunders. Getting away with it as well. Blindside of the referee. That's why I think Monroe looks at the referee. But a dominant sort of end of the round for Saunders.
And on the stretch now in the second half of the fight. We've got 2 rounds now to Billy Joe Saunders on the spin, rounds 7 and 8, and that is putting him ahead in this fight. There's 4 rounds now remaining. Heads coming close again, and another word of admonishment from Marcus McDonald.
I think a classic case, John, of the 2 southpaws clashing here and there, and tied up on the inside. People might be thinking, well, why do 2 southpaws clash and it becomes awkward? But it's quite simple. They're so used to boxing orthodox opponents that when they're boxing a southpaw, then sometimes, you know, the time in the rhythm is just not there.
And the feet.
Yeah, and in the feet, and it gets a little bit messy and scrappy. They will have had sparring partners, John, yes, but nevertheless, sparring isn't quite like fighting.
No knockdown, of course, there. Marcus McDonald saying to both guys, principally to Willie Monroe, are you okay? And the action continues. Getting to the stage where Monroe's going to have to gamble.
I think it needs a change of tactic from Monroe. I think he's got to maybe go on that front foot. All the contest has been on the back foot. He's been waiting too long for me. He's had his rounds, yes, here and there, and a few of these rounds have been close. But I think the longer this goes and the same tactic from Monroe, I think he's slowing down a little bit, if anything. And Saunders is maintaining what he's doing.
Well, Billy Joe Saunders is very big in the run-up to this, saying, OK, I've been hurt, but I don't show it. I find a way to get it done. Maybe because of background, maybe because of the way he fights, but he says that he is, at the bottom line, a fighting animal. Questioning, of course, by the very words that he used, whether or not Willie Monroe truly is. Well, if he is, he's got to find that now.
He needs to find something, John, something very, very different, unless he thinks in his own mind that, you know, he's either winning this contest or things are going his way. But I disagree with him. I think he's losing this contest and he's got to change things around.
Monroe up onto his toes now, trying to provide a mobile target, but he's not throwing anything back.
Again, same move from Monroe. Good double jab, but then just gets caught, doesn't he, with that left hand from Saunders.
Another round in which Saunders has out-jabbed Monroe. And for me, anyway, landed the more purposeful and meaningful shots. Another round in the bag for Billy Joe Saunders. Richie concurs.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you've got it in the tank. Do you understand? Don't just, when he starts having a dance, don't try hitting him. Just walk and make him throw them thing in. Because he's looking to just nice and lazy, then bang one over on you. Yeah. Right, so you just picture if he wants to do that, fair enough. Because if he has a rest, you have a rest, then you've got more in the tank.
I know it's tough. I know it's tough.
Their sensing job done. Meanwhile, in the Monroe corner, here's Tim Nolan.
Championship round. You got to take risks. Risk over reward. Let's go take those risks. Okay?
This guy's literally wants to counter. Keep using your jab, establish your lead left. I have not seen an uppercut. I promised you would drop him with an uppercut. 6 seconds. 7 seconds. Round 10.
3 rounds to go. And if the judges score it similarly to Richie Woodall, then Monroe surely has got to take everything from here on in.
Well, you heard his corner, John, say you've got to take risks. So they can see it slipping away. They feel that he's got to do something different, get on that front foot and take the contest to Saunders. You heard it from them. That wasn't a corner, in my opinion, that felt that he was winning it. No way.
And he doesn't have the sort of the look of a guy who thinks he's winning it either, does he? Really, when you look back, the only time when he's actually looked really confident that things were going his way were when Saunders was cut in the 4th round, and he had that little spell there where he looked as though he was going to take control.
I mean, John, I've got Saunders up by 4 now, 88-84 I've got it. But, you know, those close rounds earlier, they could go to Saunders. It could be even wider than that. I think Dominique Ingle certainly thinks it's wider. So, you know, we shall see. But what is very evident is that Monroe has got to take risks. He's got to do something different, get on that front foot and take the contest to Saunders, which he's not doing.
Bit of bindings come loose around that right hand of Billy Joe Saunders. I'm sure the referee spotted it yet. Now he has. And he's suggesting to the corner to be ready to do something about it if need be. He said to the corner, just keep an eye on it. Heads going in again. Saunders ducking low into the face of Monroe. Sorry, Monroe was just waiting too long again on those ropes.
I was just going to say that I think you can count on your one hand how many times that Monroe has pushed Billy Joe Saunders back on the back foot. You know, it's very rare that you see Monroe coming forward and putting Saunders under pressure. It's always Saunders, they wait, and it's Saunders beating him to the punch. And you don't see Monroe on the front foot, and I think that's what his corner is talking about, taking a few risks and going forward.
Last 20 seconds of the 10th round coming up. And again, Monroe has allowed himself to be outworked in this round. When they have got up close, situations like this, sometimes sense that Saunders is physically the stronger man. 10th round, how did you get that one, Richie?
Saunders again, John. I don't think you can score it for Monroe. He didn't do enough work for me, and I think on that back foot he's just not doing enough. So I've got him 5 points up now, Saunders.
Yeah, back end of the fight, he's really coming on strong. Let's listen in and see if we can hear from Dominic Ingle.
Listen to me, deep breathe. You've got 2 rounds. He's going to come out for a minute and try and give it everything he's got. Yeah. You don't brawl with him. Slip move, counter him, hit him straight. Okay. You understand? Get to it. When I say last minute, then you can start, but make sure it's tight. Don't leave your chin in there as you're throwing. And every time you dip into his body, bang. Just keep whacking him into the body when you get him on the rope. Slow him down. Yeah? Everything's good. Work. Kill switches up. Yes. You need to work. Let's go.
Well, to say he needs to work is an understatement. He might need a bit more than that. He might need a knockdown at least now, Willie Monroe, to have a chance of getting into this. And it might even be that he's going to have to stop Saunders to take the title. Richie Woodall, alongside me, has got Saunders in a clear lead.
Let's see if Monroe does take these risks that his corner were talking about, John. It's on that front foot. A little bit more urgency in his work at the start of this round. And Dominic Ingle got it spot on. He says he'll come out for the first minute here. So get ready. And that's exactly what he's done. He's on that front foot. That's a rare sight for Monroe.
He needed more of this earlier on, didn't he? A bit more urgency, and still, though, he is waiting for Saunders. Not really dictating as his corner might have wished, but then he does leap in behind that right hand. Saunders apologising for the one around the back of the head. Starting to be nice to each other. A few acrimonious words delivered, principally from Saunders in the run-up to this fight. Muted atmosphere now. I think because the fans, as ever, would like to see a few more fireworks. Saunders trying to deliver as he comes out of the clinch. It's better from Monroe, needs more.
Good work there from Monroe, working to the body, switching the attack from body to head. That was some of his best stuff he's done these last few rounds anyway.
There have been occasions earlier in his career when Saunders ascended to gas, as they say, in the closing stages. Notably, perhaps, against Chris Eubank Jr., but other fights as well. Kind of ran out of steam in the last few rounds, maybe because of his lack of preparation, not as fit as he might have been, but he's staying the course better this time. Big effort, though, from Monroe in this round.
Yeah, this is a better round for Monroe. This is what he should have been doing. He should have been working at this tempo, working off his jab. He's doing better here.
Americans probably picking up a round here. $11 out of 12. It was always likely that this one was going to go the distance, and it's certainly looking as though that is the way it will be now as we come up to the bell to end the 11th round. Better round for Monroe.
Yeah, I thought he did enough to nick that round, Monroe. Worked well from the start of the round. Listen to his corner.
Shit gets hard, we don't give up.
Right.
12th and last round coming up. It's the final round. We're up. Let's go. You lead this round. Hey, life is hard but fair.
Take it to this
You take it to him.
Take it to this motherfucker.
Your grandfather's sitting on your shoulder. Straight up. He's the final round coming up.
Right, listen, don't lead off with the hook. Feint the jab, tight, bang. But get off your jab first. Right, jab, 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 feint, jab, bang. You understand? Nothing stupid in this round there.
That's how Richie's got it by 4 points in Billy Joe Saunders' favour, seemingly heading towards a successful defence.
I think he's dominated the second half of the contest, hasn't he? After those tricky early rounds.
Second out, 12th and final round.
So the two touch gloves. Respect before the final 3 minutes. Apologies if there was language from the corners, which was a little bit industrial. You can understand it's at a key stage of the fight, though. That's a good left hand from Monroe.
Better work for Monroe now, John. A good previous round, and he's come out in this round again with the urgency, listening to the corner. Why wasn't he doing this earlier on in the contest? So how can Saunders respond now?
Both men will be feeling the pace now. Monroe, on our card anyway, would have to stop Saunders if he's going to take the title.
I think at this stage, Saunders is probably feeling the pace a little bit more than Monroe, John. I think Monroe has kept a lot back, hasn't he? It's been clever boxing from Saunders, but he's the one who's been prepared to work off that front foot to deliver that first shot. His work rate has been a lot higher. than his opponent, and Monroe now he's doing the better work, or he's certainly up in the tempo, but it's too late.
Much too late. Needed to gamble earlier. Maybe Saunders, as you say, is feeling the pace a little bit. Mouth just hanging open a wee bit in this 12th round.
Well, he's worked harder than his opponent during the contest. That's why he's feeling the pace.
And probably why he's winning the fight.
Yeah, he's winning it because he's worked harder. That's it in a nutshell, to be quite honest. And Monroe, he's doing some lovely stuff now, and he's working a lot harder, but he's run out of time. He needs to find a big shot.
And in all probability, he's going to be walking away from this fight knowing in his heart that he hasn't given absolutely everything. He could have perhaps done more. Title he won 21 months ago against Andy Lee. His second defence after various false starts against various opponents for a variety of reasons. Here now, though, it looks as though Billy Joe Saunders, despite struggling a little over the last couple of rounds, has done enough against Willie Monroe. As they come towards the final bell, and the celebrations, I think, will come from Billy Joe Saunders. A hug and maybe an apology, I don't know. But a sporting gesture from Saunders at the final bell. No overt celebration, but surely they must know that he's done enough.
Absolutely. I mean, Saunders has won this contest. I've got him at least 3 rounds up. I've got it 116, 113. It could be wider. But yeah, Monroe, too little too late. Those last couple of rounds were decent for him, not devastating, but he didn't work hard enough throughout the contest. And Saunders boxed a clever contest here and there earlier on, beat his opponent to the punch with that jab, and he's just outworked him, John. But overall, disappointing for Monroe. I expected a little bit more from him.
And he showed in the latter stages what might have been, but this is the way it unfolded. Fast start from Saunders.
It was a good start from Saunders. He was beating Monroe to the punch. He kept it going here. A couple of shots that were probably, were definitely illegal. But, you know, at the end of the day, this finished this round off well, because it was close up to this point, but Saunders ended the round very well.
Here was where the cut came.
Yeah, let's have a look now. So Saunders comes in, and the heads come up. Oh, yeah, that's where the cut came from Monroe. It's unintentional, it's just one of those things that's happened.
Monroe having more success in the 6th.
Yeah, a little bit better work from Monroe there with his jab. He's got a fast jab, Monroe, but he didn't throw enough of it.
Then there was a run of rounds where, despite that shot from Monroe, we kind of got the impression that he was being outworked by Saunders.
Absolutely. The second half of the contest, John, I thought Saunders did the better work. He was more active, worked a lot harder. Last couple of rounds, okay, he's feeling the pace a little bit, Billy Joe Saunders, and Monroe definitely had a good couple of rounds towards the end, but he hasn't done enough for me.
And those last 2 rounds, a sense of what might have been from Willie Monroe. And a few words from Billy Joe Saunders, who must know that, well, certainly in his heart, he believes he's done enough to retain the title. Perhaps he'd have hoped to have sent out a little bit more of a message to the other side of the Atlantic. But it was one of those fights, wasn't it, where the styles didn't really gel.
They didn't gel at all, and when you have one boxer on his back foot who's not really coming forward, it's hard then to engage, and it was at times frustrating for Billy Joe Saunders because he was waiting with him, but he was actually beating Monroe to the punch, but he couldn't get him to engage. But he's won it. But it was a little bit frustrating here and there, John.
Well, we reckon that Billy Joe Saunders is still the champion. There's an awful lot of people in that ring, but hopefully we can see Thomas Streiber, our master of ceremonies tonight, and that he can tell us how the judges have got it. Let's go into the ring and find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Benoit Roussel scores it 117 to 111. Judge Julio Cesar Alvarado scores it 115 to 114. And Judge Steve Gray scores it 117 to 112. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And still, WBO middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders.
Saunders